Step 8. A list for healing, not for shame. Keep it simple. Step 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 8 marks a powerful transition from internal work to relational responsibility. From a cognitive behavioral perspective, it's not just about listing or building emotional intelligence, identifying behavioral patterns, and preparing for meaningful connection. This is not a guilt trip. It's a structured step toward relational repair, personal accountability, and self-respect. The phrase "made a list" may sound simple, but it calls for clarity and specificity. CBTing to generalize, "I hurt people," but to identify exactly who we harmed, how we did it, and what thinking or feeling drove the behavior. What was the situation? What belief triggered the response? What was the impact? These reflections deepen our awareness and help us spot behavioral patterns. I lied to avoid conflict. I manipulated out of fear of abandonment. The list becomes a living document, not just a historical record, but a guide for future growth. Then comes the part that gives the list its weight, acknowledging all persons we had harmed. This isn't about wallowing in guilt. In CBT terms, it's about empathy. Guilt can be healthy when it inspires constructive change. Chronic guilt, however, leads to paralysis. Step 8 asks, how were others affected by my actions? What pain did they carry because of my behavior? What part of me, what fear, what belief justified that behavior at the time? This compassionate inquiry shifts us from egocentric regret to responsibility. We don't just focus on what we did, we consider how others felt, and we start to understand the ripple effects. The final part, became willing to make amends, reflects emotional readiness. In CBT, this is akin to exposure work, learning to sit with discomfort, shame, and fear without retreating. This doesn't mean eagerness. It means we've developed the emotional regulation to revisit painful experiences, consider others' pain, and prepare for constructive action. We don't rush. We don't avoid. We learn to tolerate vulnerability and stay grounded through it. This step builds distress tolerance and self-awareness critical to sustainable recovery. CBT offers many tools to support Step 8. Behavioral chain analysis helps trace harmful actions from trigger to consequence, exposing the inner machinery behind them. Empathy-building exercises challenge us to imagine what the other person might have felt. Guilt versus shame distinctions help us stay responsibility, not self-condemnation. And the willingness scale allows us to rate our emotional readiness. From 1, completely unwilling, to 10, fully willing. For each person on our list, helping us see where resistance still lives. Practically speaking, the first goal is to make the list. Keep it private, structured, and free of emotional overdrive. Focus on facts and patterns. Then begin to notice the thoughts that resist accountability. They hurt me too. It wasn't that bad. These are mental defenses that CBT encourages us to gently challenge. Talk through the list with a sponsor or trusted guide. Rate your reactions, comfort. Learn to sit with it instead of running from it. And remember, the goal here isn't to fix everyone or be forgiven by all. The goal is to own your part. CBT reminds us, we control our actions, not others' reactions. Step 8 is about clearing our side of the street. It's about owning our behavior, understanding our impact, and preparing for amends, not with desperation, but with dignity. In cognitive behavioral terms, Step 8 is an exercise in relational maturity. It's a willingness to move from isolated thinking to shared responsibility. It's the preparation for repair, not through guilt-ridden groveling, but through brave, thoughtful engagement. By Step 8, I'm making a list. And no, it's not a grocery list. It's a deeply personal record of the footprints I've left in other people's lives. Not to punish myself, but to get honest. With guidance, I look at each entry, not to shame myself, but to see clearly. My sponsor helps me keep perspective, reminding me, prison. It's my roadmap. It reconnects my head and heart with empathy, something addiction often severs. This step is where compassion meets accountability, and that's the beginning of relational healing. If I want to complete Step 8, making a list of all persons I had harmed, and becoming willing to make amends to them all, I need to stop the past, write down names without filtering or justifying, and open my heart to making things right, even if it feels uncomfortable or scary.